What was it like wrestling the Road Warriors? Do you think that they could match up strength with you and your brother in the ring?
No. And next question?
That was pretty easy, huh?
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. The Road Warriors, me and my brother were we were a millennium team. We took size, speed, and agility to a new height. That was Harlem Heat. The Road Warriors, okay, they can get in a gym and bench press 500 pounds, but so could I. And you have a guy that may have been probably the most prolific athlete to ever step in the square circle, Booker T, who not only was a strong guy, a man that could wrap circles around most opponents in the ring, mentally and physically. And when you put all that together, you know what you got? You got the best tag team that ever stepped in the middle of the square circle, bar none.
So would you say that Harlem Heat was better than Stars and Stripes?
I would say Harlem Heat was better than any tag team that anyone out there can conjure up and spit out of their mouth. That's what I'm saying.
What were your initial impressions? You and your brother had been in the company for a while at this point, and then Kevin Nash and Scott Hall showed up. Do you have any feelings one way or another about that?
You know what? I'm not an insecure person when it comes to professional wrestling. I am a realist. And WCW I had nothing with Kevin Nash and Scott Hall are two of my best friends that I ever encountered in this business. I had no ill will toward them, none whatsoever. My ill will was toward people that ran WCW. And if you happen to be within that, then I had ill will toward certain people that ran WCW. Not with the people that I participated in the ring with. So as far as Kevin Nash and Scott Hall go, they're no bigger than the people that are running things, or they're no smaller than the people that are running things. And everything they do has an agenda from someone else. That is how the professional wrestling game is ran. So when people ask that question, no, there's no ill will. There's never any ill will toward the people that are in the ring with you. It's always the idiotic imbeciles that are outside the ring that think they know what they're doing.
Which leads into another fan question. Was it as mismanaged and hard to deal with, the politics there with the upper management?
To a certain degree, yes. To a certain degree. But, in professional wrestling, it's just like the military. You take orders and you go out and do the very best you can possibly do when someone tells you to do it. And that's pretty much about it.
This is the last of the fan questions, but you were around when the Ultimate Warrior came into WCW, and they wanted to know how you felt about that entire deal.
It was a debacle, just like most things that people came up with these stupid ideas that had happened in one organization, then they try to bring them to another organization and trying to capitalize on something that happened years ago, and the people just wasn't buying it. Nothing toward the Ultimate Warrior. I always hit it off pretty good with him, and it was what it was. It wasn't the Ultimate Warrior thing. It was the people that were running things, trying to recapture something had already passed them by, and that's what happens when you let people that don't know what they're doing try to run things, and they put them in position to run things, and they don't know what they're doing. You get a debacle.
Obviously, you have such a big part in the reality of wrestling down here in Houston.
Yes.
So many people are getting picked up now and noticed by the WWE.
Yes.
Brennan Williams, former Houston Texans player.
Yes.
You had the privilege of wrestling him in a 6-man tag not too long ago in Texas City. What is your impression of him, his progression? How do you think he's going to do once he gets to the big game up there?
Well, I think he'll do very well, but I must correct you on something. It was his privilege to be in the ring with Ma. Can you dig that? Okay, this man got expert tutelage when he got in the ring with me, but I think he's going to do very, very well. I mean, he's trained extensively. He's the kind of guy that listens. He's the kind of guy that gets it. I don't know if it's his football background or maybe he just have a lot of people just have high wrestling IQs, and he seems to have that. And I think if he keeps his attitude the right way, he's going to go very far in this business. And I am very, very proud of him, as is my brother, who was his, his personal trainer to get him to where he is today.
And he's one of the few guys that can actually, as far as size-wise, could actually match up with you, because you're usually one of the biggest guys in there. What does it take for a guy like him, a guy like you, to wrestle that big man style?
Well, the thing is not so much of what the big man needs to know. He'll learn what he needs to know. But it's the smaller guys that has to know how to work with the bigger guys. You can't do some of the same things you can do and still look great when you have a big guy going against a smaller guy sometimes. So sometimes you have to circumvent what the big guy does to make yourself look good and come up with certain spots that make you look good and him look good at the same time. And he can stay big, work big at the same time. And that's an art in itself. And they got enough people that have been in the business in WWE for long enough to know how to put those kind of matches together and make sure, they make sense and they still look good at the same time.
On the female side, Athena, who was down here previously when it was PWA, now in Reality of Wrestling, she wasn't here that long ago.
Yes.
What are your impressions of her now that she's going to be Ember Moon in NXT?
I think if anybody has the ability to make it at that next level on the female side, it's her. Because she is a very, very hard worker, a person that goes out of her way to do her due diligence to learn as much as she can possibly learn. Because when people like Marcellus Black, that's what we call him here, and Athena, when they get picked up, it's not an accident. It's because their talent has made someone look at them and think that they can do something with them. So it couldn't happen to a finer person, couldn't happen to a harder worker person. She was most deserving to get that shot and do what she's doing right now, in the big time right now, at the big show. Who
out of the core of talent that we have now, we've got the Mysterious Q's, we've got, just throwing some names out there.
Ryan Davison, in my eyes, is probably the most gifted pupil I have ever been around outside of the big leagues of professional wrestling that I've walked. And that's in every country that I've ever traveled. Ryan Davison. Now, he might not have the most classical body. He might not be the look a lot of people are looking for, but I'm telling you right now, there are other guys out there that doesn't have the classical bodies that can't hold a candle to this guy. I'm telling you right now, Ruthless Ryan Davison is the most talented individual in this part of the country, not just Texas. He's that good. He's great on the mic. He can do anything in the ring. The man is like Pontiac. He sells excitement. Ruthless Ryan Davison, bar none.
So you hear it here first. If he gets picked up here, which,
as far as I'm concerned, he should have been gotten picked up. He's that good.
You were talking about the promo skills. You were talking about how he sells the excitement. What are some of the other, the small things, the details that the fans might not see from their eyes since they're watching the show? What is it that he has all around that makes him such a unique performer and someone that should be picked up already?
Ryan Davison has a very high professional wrestling IQ. He soaks in every single solitary thing that you tell him, and then he implements it like no other. The guy is a pupil, a student of the ring, and some of the things the fans would not see, but people in the game, people like myself, we do see. And I'm telling you right now, when we did the show in the Galleria at the hotel, a guy came up and asked me, "Who is that guy right there? I would like to talk with him." You know who that guy was? Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I don't think I have to say any more.
What makes Reality of Wrestling the powerhouse that it is here in Texas?
Because everything's done the right way. Everything's done with professionalism. Everything is done from an angle of people that have been there, people that have seen it, people that have done it. And that's the difference between Reality of Wrestling and some of the other independent organizations in this area of the country or around the country. It is ran by someone that knows what they're doing. And that's the professionalism. There's no bull crap. There's no people doing things outside of what they're being told. They're being taught the right way. They're being trained the right way. And if you got that, trained the right way, you're taught the right way, and you use your head and you have the right attitude, those people are not being picked up by the WWE because they've been sitting at the bus stop. They're being picked up because that is what the big time, the big show is looking for. And that kind of training, that kind of attitude is what that's going to put you on top, keep you on top, and make something out of yourself.
Tell the fans that don't know about your radio show, because it's getting a lot of traffic and it's got a lot of buzz down here, but people around the country might not know about it yet since it's so new. Can you just tell the fans a little bit about it?
Well, we just finished our 21st show, or it may have been the 22nd show. It's hard for me to keep up, but we do it once a week. The show is called Straight Shooting with Stevie Ray, and every week we got guests from the MMA world. We got guests from the professional wrestling world. We have guests from the boxing world. We have local comedians, local R&B singers. We have people from former NFL players, current NFL players. That's how we do it. Straight Shooting with Stevie Ray, every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central, KCOH 92.9 HD2, television you can hear and see.
And not only do you have the radio show, but you also have a new YouTube channel now. This is brand new as well.
The YouTube station is just coming around. We just launched a new YouTube station. It's also Straight Shooting with Stevie Ray, where we take all our interviews and a lot of the things that we do in the studio, and also a lot of the things that we do outside the studio, and we put it on the YouTube station to let everybody knows what we're doing, because we're not like a lot of these other podcasts that sit up and interview people and have the most boring interviews known to man. I don't want to say any names, but they're all over the place. They're all over the country. That's not what we do. You know what my slogan is on the show? Champions know champions. And baby, you know what we're gonna do? We chop it up. That's how we do it on my show.
You have some big names on this. You've had Jim Ross, you've had Teddy Long, you had the Patriot Del Wilkes. I wanted to ask you about the Patriot interview, because for the fans that don't know, the Patriot was a part of a show in Georgia a few weeks back with a promoter where there was some shiesty dealings going on. Can you tell the fans about what you heard?
Yeah, Del Wilkes and others, the Arn Andersons of the world, and it was some big name people at the show in Georgia that it was a meet and greet, autograph session, and apparently it was promoted poorly. Apparently a lot of the money that was promised to a lot of the people that were participating, some of the guys wasn't paid, if not a majority of the guys wasn't paid. And, those are just some of the things that go on in this business. And Del Wilkes, the Patriot, he elaborated on that extensively. And I'm telling you right now, I bust the proverbial gut at the time because it was so funny, because these are the things that people don't know about that happens in professional wrestling. And everybody that's been in this business long enough actually have a story like that one. And matter of fact, I even had to share one of mine with him the same day he was on the show, telling us about what happened with that. But apparently Dale got his money. I think he strong-armed somebody, but he did get his money.
So a happy ending, at least, for Dell.
Well, it was for him, but every man for himself. Those were his words.
What's up, guys? Booker T, 5-time champ. September, here we come. The Harlem Heat reunion. Booker T and Stevie Ray back together again at the WCW Arena. Oh, the Harlem Heat is coming.
September 17th, Icons of Wrestling. Stevie Ray and Booker T will be appearing there. And we're hoping we have a very, very good turnout. We hope a lot of the fans come out so we can take pictures, sign autographs and do what we do, because they have an array of different athletes that are going to be there. And I think it's going to be a great show, because I haven't seen this many top-notch, top-flight names in the professional wrestling game in quite some time. So I'm looking forward to it. Hope all the fans come out. Philadelphia, PA, September 17th. Harlem Heat will be there, and we will be headlining like we always do. Don't be late. Show up. Let's have a good time.